Ku Klux Klan and Jim Crow. So if you go back to before the 1960s, all the way back to the 1700s, you will see that any form of Puritanism, Southern Baptist, or very conservative Christianity, or any of those groups of people in what we call the Bible Belt or the South, have seemed to consistently support racism, slavery, subjection, sexism, and queerphobia. Now, this is not true with all denominations in 2025, but you will notice that any church that has the term nationalist or Southern in it, you will see, I would say more likely than not, they still support the white supremacy. Southern Baptist, Catholics, fundamentalists, Calvinists, they are extremely white supremacist. And if you have an interest in learning more about the influence Christianity had in upholding racism and slavery and white supremacy, hop onto Google. The problem with erasing, silencing, and squelching historical education is that the church doesn't want to be reminded that they supported the Ku Klux Klan. They don't want to be reminded that they supported abortion until Roe versus Wade was passed. And now they've switched teams since the 70s because they found it was more morally relevant to be against abortion than to support it after Roe versus Wade. Religion, race, and racism always go together. If you're lucky to have grown up or been in a church that wasn't systematically racist or white supremacist, you're lucky. But the church doesn't want to talk about their sordid history. They don't talk openly about racism. Anytime you see passages in the Bible about Jewish people committing genocide, even though every group of people on this planet have done bad things, nobody in church ever condemned the ancient Jewish people for killing everybody in the Middle East. How many times did God commit racism and infanticide? The Jews could sell their own into slavery and could sell strangers into slavery. Slavery has been around much longer than anything else. In the Roman world, 1 out of 3 people were slaves. And even now, there's human trafficking. If white nationalists could get away with it, they would be selling anybody who doesn't look like them. Nowadays, instead of slavery, we just discriminate against people. We call it anti-abortion. Don't ask, don't tell. Don't say gay. This is how nationalists and conservatives control, perpetuate, and continue systematic racism. And until we strip every state of laws on the books, whether enforced or not, we need to get rid of any law that discriminates against anyone. We need to start teaching all the sordid history associated with American history. We need everyone to be accountable. We need to teach that the church was complicit and was a big driving force of support for racism, sexism, and queerphobia. Unfortunately, that's not being taught in church, and it's not taught consistently anywhere else, even though a lot of states teach critical race theory, feminism. If you go to the really conservative denominations of Christianity, Being a feminist is declared a sin. Being queer is deemed a deviation. Racism is so upheld even now. It's hard to look back at things I did in the Southern Baptist Church and not see the racism. When you have a hierarchy where only white, cis, heterosexual men can be in positions of authority, you are systematically driving the force toward racism.